Welcome to the Persistent Purpose Podcast with MJ Hunter. I am Coach MJ. I am your host. I'm a global speaker, mindset strategist, emerging author, and event producer. I'm so excited for this topic today because the topic today is how to stay consistent with a new habit. I know if you're anything like me, you struggle when you are starting something new to remain consistent and continue with what it is that you have started. I know that being disciplined and setting up new habits can be a big struggle for a lot of people because it's okay to get excited, for example, at the beginning of the year when you're setting New Year's resolutions. But then once the end of January rolls around and then you're into February, a lot of those New Year's resolutions have gone by the wayside. Or it might even not be a New Year's resolution. It could be any time of the year. People struggle with staying consistent. And it's only with consistency that you can see the rewards and the success that you want. So we're going to be talking about 3 actions that you can take to help you to be more consistent with the new habits that you are starting. So the first habit that we're going to talk about is sticking the course. Stick to a course. What do I mean by a course? Your course is the sequence of activities. It's the what and the how of what it is that you're going to be doing. And I'm going to be using a story in my life as an example. So I have never been a runner. I've never played basketball, even though people think that all the time. I never was. But several years ago in 2016, I decided I wanted to become a runner. But I had no idea how to get started. I heard about the Couch to 5K app, which if you have never used the Couch to 5K app, I highly recommend it because it tells you step by step what to do to become a runner, to go from your couch to running 5Ks. And using that app, I did not have to worry about what to do. I knew what to wear. I kind of knew you need some lightweight sneakers and you need to wear workout clothes, but I didn't know how to. You don't just go out of the house and just start running, do you? Right. But this app gave me the sequence of activities. It told me what to do and how to do it. And that can be that's vital to know what you're going to do when you are creating a new habit. And you have to stick to that course like glue. But the first thing I had to do, even before I picked up that app, is I had to make a decision. I had to make a decision that I wanted to become a runner. And I had to adopt the identity of a runner. And that was part of my reason. I had health reasons and all that. We're going to talk about that in another step. But I made a decision and then I went about figuring out what my course of action would be. And in this app, it tells you what the next item is going to be on our list, which is sticking to a cadence. It tells you the frequency with which you're supposed to run. It's 3 times a week, right? You're running it leads you from, you're doing mostly walking and a little running, and then you ease up, a little higher until you are full out running for the entire 3.1 miles, right? But you have to do something in the app 3 times a week. So that cadence, you know what? The power of a streak, I cannot overstate the power of having a streak. That kept me consistent, meaning being able to say that I've done this 3 times a week without fail. That propelled me for as long as I was a runner. And I'm going to talk about what happened when I stopped being a runner. But being able to say I did this 3 times a week consistently, having that cadence, what is that, that tempo, that rhythm, that kept me going. First, so I had to identify that I wanted to be a runner, but then having that cadence, knowing it was going to be 3 times a week. There were times when I got down to the end of the week. I remember one time in particular, it was Saturday night, about 9 o'clock. It was dark outside. I had not done my 3rd run for the week. I went out and did my 3rd run. Why? I wanted to be consistent with this habit that I had started. So I went out and I did my run, and I was super proud of myself. Daily and weekly habits are super important. What are you doing every single day of your life? You eat every day. Most people groom themselves, bathe, get dressed every day. A lot of people go to work every day, at least every day that you're scheduled to work. So what are you doing every day for yourself? Are you doing your habits every day? Or if it makes more sense to do them weekly? Weekly and daily habits are very powerful because they come up frequently in your life. You live your life on a daily basis. So anything that you're doing every day is going to be something that's going to be easier to stay consistent with, unless it's something that can be done, less frequently, like every week. but you have to know what that cadence is and stick to it like glue. So we've talked about sticking to a course, knowing what you're going to do every single day, every single week, having a step-by-step plan and knowing what you're going to wear, knowing what you're going to do, what you're going to say, where you're going to go. That is important. And we've talked about sticking to a cadence. How often are you going to do it? And never let up on that. And then the third thing is sticking to a cause. What do I mean by a cause? Your cause is your reason. It's the why. It's the thing that sparks you and gets you going. My why was that I wanted to be identified as a runner. I wanted to have the runner's body. I wanted to have the runner's mindset and discipline. I wanted to be part of the community, the worldwide community of people who run. I had never done that before. And that was important to me. And that kept me going. However, one thing I will point out, we talked about the strength that comes from having a streak and being able to do so many things in a row. The mistake I made was some kind of way I did not keep my identity as a runner as the reason, and eventually the streak became the reason. I kept running because I did not want to fail at doing it 3 times a week. However, after I had been a runner for about 13 months, we went on vacation. I was out of town for like 3 or 4 days. Now, I could have made plans to do my running in that other city. They allow running, running is allowed worldwide, but I did not do that. I did not take the right garments, and I fell. And I did not I think I only ran one time that week before we left and went out of town. And because of that, I lost my streak and I stopped being a runner that week. Now, since that time, I have run a few times here and there. I've done 5Ks. And actually, I'll tell you what I'm doing right now to get me back in the running space. But I lost my streak. And so once I messed up and the thing had become keeping the streak going, it wasn't about being a runner anymore. I gave up. I stopped being a runner. I stopped running 3 times a week after having done it for over a year. So you want to make sure that the right reason, the correct cause, that you stick to that so that you don't fall off and get distracted by something else. There was nothing wrong with having a streak, but once I messed up my streak, I quit running, and that wasn't the right response. So sticking to your cause and knowing why you're doing it is super important. The week that the running died is when I went on vacation. Now, I'm going to talk about a similar story as we close here. Back in December of last year, I was listening to a Mel Robbins podcast, and she was talking about creating habits or something she was talking about. And she said that one of her morning routine habits is I think she does a 10-minute walk every morning before she does anything else, before she looks at social media, emails, before she, does anything else. That's her habit. And I thought, I want to create that habit of getting outside and walking every day. And so that very day, or might have been the next day, I started walking in the morning. And that was December, so it was already cold weather. I just bundled up and went out there. And walking every single day became my habit. It was easier than just 3 times a week because it was every day without fail. And ever since then, it's now 8 months later, I have not missed a day. It doesn't matter what the weather is. If it's raining, I take an umbrella. If it's cold, I put on garments. I'm blessed to have coats. I put them on. I don't use cold weather as an excuse because if I want to go anywhere else, I go. I eliminate the excuses and I go every single day without fail. There's been a couple of times when I've had to move my walk to later in the day because maybe I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning to catch a flight. Did not have time to go walking, but I made sure before I go to bed, I do my 30 minutes. And then, we're going to do an episode about this in a future episode of this podcast. We're going to talk about stacking habits. I decided I wanted to interject running back into my walking. And so I worked my way from about 1.5 minutes of running in the middle of my walk, all the way to now I do 5 minutes of running in the middle of my walk. So I can get a full 2 miles in the 30 minutes. I stacked that habit of running into the walking, and I actually enjoy it. It gets my cardio going. I don't know if I'm ever going to work my way back up to doing 3 5Ks a week. I could do that easily if I wanted to. It's just not a goal I have, but I am sticking to the course every single day. Before I look at my phone, before I get on the internet, get into emails and do all these other things to get my day going, one of the things I do is I go walking outside. And 1 day a week, I don't add the running in. I let myself just walk, and that's kind of a slower pace. But 6 days a week, I'm walking and running. But 7 days, I'm outside. And I've made that habit. The cadence is every single day. And my why is for health. My why is for cardio. And my why is also because I want to have that discipline. It also clears my mind and gets me energized for the work I'm doing that day. And so I am a runner again, and I'm super proud of it. But stay the course when you start a new habit. Stick to a cadence when you have a new habit. Decide what the cadence is and stick to it. And then most importantly, stick to your cause. This has been an episode of Persistent Purpose with MJ Hunter. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Be sure to comment, like, share this episode with someone who can benefit from it. And I will see you in the next episode. Take care.